He was a friend of Saint Thomas Aquinas and, as a child, received a personal blessing from Saint Francis of Assisi. Today's curiosity is about Saint Bonaventure. Here are 10 curiosities about him. 10. Baptismal name. Saint Bonaventure, whose baptismal name was John of Fidanza, was born in 1221 in Bagnoregio, a small town in the Lazio region of Italy. He was baptized with this name in honor of his father, a respected physician in the community. From an early age, John showed an inclination for spirituality and religious studies, characteristics that would later define his life and work. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe so you don't miss any curiosities about the saints. 9. Miraculous healing. As a child, John of Fidanza suffered from a serious illness that threatened his life. Despite his father Giovanni di Fidanza's efforts, a respected physician, no cure seemed possible. This distressing situation led his mother to seek spiritual help by turning to Saint Francis of Assisi, who was already known for his holiness and miracles. Desperate and with unwavering faith, John's mother took the boy to Saint Francis. According to tradition, Saint Francis fervently prayed for the child's health. During the prayer, Saint Francis had a vision or prophetic feeling about John's future, exclaiming, "O buona ventura! O good fortune!" After this intercession, young John miraculously recovered from his illness, an event that not only saved his life but also deeply marked his spiritual journey. This miraculous healing was interpreted as a prophetic sign of the grand destiny awaiting John. From that moment on, he and his family maintained a deep respect and devotion to Saint Francis. The miraculous recovery also reinforced John's faith and planted the seeds of his future religious vocation. Years later, when he joined the Franciscan order, John adopted the name Bonaventure in memory of the miracle that Saint Francis had performed in his life. This name symbolized not only the good fortune he received but also the divine direction that would guide his entire existence. As Bonaventure, he dedicated his life to theology, philosophy, and the promotion of Franciscan ideals, becoming a central figure in the Church and one of the great doctors of the Church. 8. Higher education. At 20, John of Fidanza, who would later adopt the name Bonaventure, made the crucial decision to join the Franciscan order. This step marked the beginning of a spiritual and intellectual journey that would lead him to become one of the most prominent figures in medieval theology. 2 years after entering the order, Bonaventure was sent to the University of Paris, one of the most prestigious academic centers in Europe at the time. There, he devoted himself to the study of philosophy and theology, fundamental disciplines for the intellectual and spiritual formation of a religious. The University of Paris was known for its academic rigor and as a place where the most advanced and challenging ideas of the time were debated. Bonaventure quickly stood out among his peers. His brilliant intelligence, combined with profound humility and devotion, made him an exemplary student. He studied under renowned masters and absorbed the prevailing currents of thought, especially the Augustinian and Platonic influences that shaped his own theological approach. His competence and dedication did not go unnoticed. After completing his studies, Bonaventure was appointed a full professor at the University of Paris, a position of great prestige and responsibility. As a professor, he not only imparted knowledge but also inspired his students with his spiritual and intellectual vision. Bonaventure was known for his ability to unite reason and faith, demonstrating how philosophy could be harmoniously integrated with Christian theology. During his time at the University of Paris, Bonaventure wrote several important works that consolidated his reputation as a theologian and philosopher. His works, characterized by depth of thought and clarity of expression, addressed fundamental issues of the Christian faith, such as the nature of God, creation, salvation, and spiritual life. He also engaged in significant academic debates, defending the Mendicant orders against criticisms and strengthening the position of the Franciscans in academia. Bonaventure's contribution to the University of Paris and medieval theology was immense. His balanced and profound approach influenced generations of theologians and Christian thinkers. In addition to his academic role, Bonaventure continued to live a life of simplicity and Franciscan devotion, exemplifying the ideals of Saint Francis of Assisi. Leave your prayer requests in the comments so that Saint Bonaventure may intercede for them before God. 7. Friendship with Saint Thomas Aquinas. The friendship between Saint Bonaventure and Saint Thomas Aquinas is one of the most notable examples of intellectual and spiritual collaboration in the history of the Church. Both lived in the 13th century, a period of great intellectual ferment and theological development. Although they belonged to different religious orders, Bonaventure to the Franciscans and Thomas Aquinas to the Dominicans, their friendship and mutual respect transcended these differences, resulting in a rich and fruitful exchange of ideas. Saint Bonaventure and Saint Thomas Aquinas met at the University of Paris, where both studied and later taught. The university was a center of academic excellence and a place where the brightest minds of the time gathered to debate and explore philosophical and theological issues. In this environment, Bonaventure and Thomas developed a deep admiration for each other, based on their intellectual abilities and religious devotion. Their friendship was marked by a mutual respect that allowed for the exchange of ideas and collaboration in various areas of theological thought. Although they had different approaches, Bonaventure being more influenced by St. Augustine and Platonism, while Thomas Aquinas followed the Aristotelian tradition, their discussions significantly contributed to the advancement of medieval theology. They often participated in the same debates and conferences, where their interactions helped shape the thought of their contemporaries and future generations. One of the clearest manifestations of their friendship was the way both approached the issue of the Mendicant orders. Both Bonaventure and Thomas Aquinas vigorously defended the validity and importance of these orders within the Church. They argued that the Franciscans and Dominicans played a crucial role in the spiritual revitalization of the Church and the promotion of an authentic and dedicated Christian life. In addition to their academic contributions, Bonaventure's and Thomas Aquinas's friendship had a profound impact on their spiritual lives. They shared a common quest for God and a dedication to a life of prayer and contemplation. Their literary works reflect this spiritual depth, addressing issues such as the nature of God, creation, redemption, and spiritual life. Thomas Aquinas recognized Bonaventure's wisdom and sanctity, and Bonaventure, in turn, admired Thomas's clarity and logical rigor. This relationship of respect and friendship is exemplified by a famous episode. When Bonaventure was appointed cardinal and was preparing for the investiture ceremony, Thomas Aquinas found him washing dishes in the convent. This scene symbolizes the humility and service that both considered central to their religious lives. 6. Defender of the Mendicant orders. Saint Bonaventure was a fervent defender of the Mendicant orders, particularly the Franciscans, to which he belonged. In the 13th century, the Mendicant orders, which included the Franciscans and the Dominicans, played a vital role in the spiritual revitalization of the Church. However, these orders also faced criticism and controversy, especially concerning their role and influence within the Church and society. Bonaventure argued that the Mendicant orders represented a return to the humble origins of Christianity, emphasizing a life of poverty, simplicity, and service to the poor and marginalized. He saw these orders as a living expression of Christ's gospel, which called its followers to abandon wealth and status in favor of a life of humility and dedication to others. One of the main criticisms of the Mendicant orders was the allegation that their members were becoming excessively influential and powerful, thereby corrupting their vows of poverty and simplicity. In his defenses, Bonaventure emphasized that the true wealth of these orders lay not in material possessions but in spiritual wealth and their contribution to the renewal of faith and Christian practice. Bonaventure wrote several works and participated in public debates to defend the validity and importance of the Mendicant orders. He argued that these orders were essential to the Church's mission, as they brought the gospel directly to the people, especially the poor and needy, and exemplified an authentic Christian life. Furthermore, he believed that the Mendicant orders played a crucial role in education and spiritual formation, providing a counterbalance to materialistic and corrupt tendencies that sometimes infiltrated the Church's hierarchy. As general minister of the Franciscans, Bonaventure implemented reforms to ensure that the order remained faithful to its founding principles. He emphasized the importance of discipline, communal life, and devotion, seeking to avoid excesses and deviations that could compromise the order's integrity. His leadership was crucial in consolidating the Franciscans' position within the Church and strengthening their spiritual mission. Bonaventure also actively participated in councils and synods, where he defended the Mendicant orders against their detractors. At the Council of Lyon in 1274, He played a decisive role in reconciling the mendicant orders with the secular clergy, resolving disputes that threatened the unity of the Church. 5. General Minister of the Franciscans. In 1257, Saint Bonaventure was appointed General Minister of the Franciscans by Pope Alexander IV, assuming one of the most responsible and influential positions within the Franciscan order. His appointment marked the beginning of a leadership that lasted 18 years and was characterized by profound reforms and strengthening of the order. This crucial period in the history of the Franciscans is often referred to as an era of renewal and consolidation, for which Bonaventure is remembered as the second father and second founder of the Franciscan order. The Franciscan order, founded by Saint Francis of Assisi, had grown rapidly in size and influence but also faced significant challenges. There were internal tensions regarding the interpretation of Saint Francis's ideals of poverty and simplicity, as well as external pressures from the Church and society. Bonaventure recognized the need to reinforce discipline and unity within the order to preserve its original spiritual mission. As general minister, Bonaventure implemented various reforms aimed at restoring and reinforcing the founding principles of the Franciscans. He emphasized the importance of voluntary poverty, communal life, and adherence to the order's rules. Bonaventure believed that fidelity to Saint Francis's ideals was essential for the spiritual vitality of the Franciscans and for the Christian witness they offered to the world. One of his most significant achievements was the drafting of a new official biography of Saint Francis, titled Major Legend. This work not only narrated the life and miracles of Saint Francis but also provided a theological interpretation of his charisma and mission. Major Legend became an authoritative reference for the life and teachings of Saint Francis, helping to unify the order around a shared vision of its founder. In addition to his internal reforms, Bonaventure worked to strengthen the Franciscans' relationships with the Church and society at large. He promoted education and intellectual formation within the order, encouraging the friars to engage in theological and philosophical studies. This emphasis on education helped the Franciscans become a significant force in the academic and spiritual life of medieval Europe. Bonaventure also played an important diplomatic role, representing the interests of the Franciscans in councils and synods. At the Council of Lyon in 1274, he managed to reconcile the mendicant orders with the secular clergy, resolving disputes that threatened the unity of the Church. His skill in mediating conflicts and his balanced vision contributed to the stability and growth of the order during a tumultuous period. Saint Bonaventure's leadership as general minister of the Franciscans left a lasting legacy. He managed to preserve the essence of Franciscan ideals while adapting the order to the new realities and challenges of the 13th century. His ability to combine spiritual devotion with practical wisdom made him a revered figure not only among the Franciscans but throughout the Church. 4. Doctor of the Church. Saint Bonaventure, widely recognized as one of the greatest theologians of the Middle Ages, was proclaimed Doctor of the Church in acknowledgement of his immense theological and spiritual contributions. His work, deeply influenced by the teachings of Saint Augustine and Plato, encompasses 11 volumes of theological writings that continue to be studied and revered to this day. Bonaventure incorporated Platonic philosophy and Augustinian theology into his writings, seeking to harmonize reason and faith. He viewed philosophy as a valuable tool for understanding and explaining the truths of the Christian faith. His most well-known works, such as Itinerarium Mentis in Deum, The Journey of the Mind to God, and Breviloquium, are clear examples of his ability to integrate philosophical thought with Christian spirituality, guiding the faithful to a deeper understanding of God and creation. In 1273, his wisdom and holiness were recognized by Pope Gregory X, who appointed him Bishop and Cardinal of Albano. This appointment came at a crucial time as the Church faced significant challenges requiring leaders of great integrity and vision. As Bishop and Cardinal, Bonaventure brought his profound spirituality and intellect to ecclesiastical administration, playing a vital role in guiding the Church. One of the most important moments of his career was his participation in the Second Council of Lyon in 1274. This council was convened by Pope Gregory X to address crucial issues, including the reunification of the Eastern and Western churches, which had been separated since the Great Schism of 1054. Bonaventure played a decisive role in the council, using his diplomatic skills and profound theological knowledge to mediate discussions and seek solutions to the divisions within the Church. At the Council of Lyon, Bonaventure was one of the main speakers and advisors, and his contributions were essential to the success of the deliberations. His ability to present clear and convincing theological arguments, combined with his charismatic and conciliatory personality, helped foster an environment of dialogue and cooperation. Unfortunately, Bonaventure passed away during the council on July 15, 1274, but his legacy continued to influence the decisions made and inspire future generations. The proclamation of Saint Bonaventure as Doctor of the Church was a recognition of his profound wisdom, holiness, and lasting contribution to Christian theology. His writings, characterized by a combination of intellectual depth and spiritual devotion, remain a valuable source of inspiration and guidance for theologians, scholars, and the faithful around the world. 3. Role in the Council of Lyon. Saint Bonaventure played a crucial role in the Second Council of Lyon, held in 1274, where he used his diplomatic skills and deep theological knowledge to address and resolve significant issues affecting the Church. One of his major successes at the council was the reconciliation of the Mendicant orders with the secular clergy, an achievement that had a lasting impact on the Church. At the time, the Mendicant orders, including the Franciscans and the Dominicans, were at odds with the secular clergy over issues of jurisdiction, influence, and pastoral practices. The Mendicant orders, which followed a life of voluntary poverty and direct service to the poor, often clashed with the secular clergy over preaching and administering the sacraments. These tensions threatened the unity and harmony within the Church, becoming an urgent concern for the ecclesiastical hierarchy. Bonaventure, with his experience as general minister of the Franciscans and his reputation for wisdom and holiness, was a key figure in mediating these disputes. He had a deep understanding of the principles and mission of the Mendicant orders, as well as the concerns of the secular clergy. His balanced and conciliatory approach allowed him to serve as an effective mediator, facilitating dialogue between the conflicting parties. During the Council of Lyon, Bonaventure worked tirelessly to find solutions that acknowledged and respected the unique contributions of both groups. He argued that the Mendicant orders played a vital role in the spiritual renewal of the Church, bringing the gospel directly to the poor and exemplifying a life of simplicity and devotion. At the same time, he recognized the importance of the secular clergy in maintaining the Church's structure and order. Through his negotiations, Bonaventure managed to establish compromises that allowed for a more harmonious coexistence between the Mendicant orders and the secular clergy. He helped to outline clear guidelines on preaching and administering the sacraments, ensuring that responsibilities were distributed in a way that minimized conflicts. These resolutions strengthened collaboration and unity within the Church, allowing both parties to continue serving the faithful effectively. In addition to his mediation between the Mendicant orders and the secular clergy, Bonaventure also contributed to other important issues discussed at the council, including the attempt to reunify the Eastern and Western churches, which had been separated since the Great Schism of 1054. His ability to present convincing theological arguments and promote a spirit of dialogue and cooperation was crucial to the progress made during the council. 2. Death. Saint Bonaventure passed away on July 15, 1274, during his participation in the Second Council of Lyon. His death occurred in Lyon, France, and he was directly attended by Pope Gregory X, a testament to his importance and the respect he inspired within the Church. Bonnie's death was a moment of great loss for the Church. He was at the height of his influence, playing a crucial role in the Council's deliberations and mediating significant conflicts, including the reconciliation of the Mendicant orders with the secular clergy. His wisdom, holiness, and diplomatic skills were highly valued, and his absence was deeply felt. The ceremony of his funeral was marked by a great demonstration of respect and reverence, reflecting the lasting impact he had on the Church and the Christian community at large. His dedication to the faith, his contribution to theology, and his leadership within the Franciscan order were widely recognized and celebrated. On April 14, 1482, Saint Bonaventure was canonized by Pope Sixtus IV, an official recognition of his sanctity and his vital role in the history of the Church. His canonization confirmed his status as one of the great saints of the Catholic Church, whose example of life and devotion continues to inspire the faithful. Later, in 1588, he was declared a Doctor of the Church by Pope Sixtus V. This title is granted to saints whose theological works and doctrines are of extraordinary importance to the Church. Bonaventure's writings, characterized by a profound integration of philosophy and theology, and his mystical and devotional approach, made him one of the most influential theologians in Christian tradition. His designation as Doctor of the Church further solidified his legacy as one of the greatest thinkers and spiritual leaders in Christianity. Saint Bonaventure is remembered for his deep spirituality, his ability to harmonize reason and faith, and his tireless dedication to spiritual renewal and the unity of the Church. His writings, including works such as Itinerarium Mentis in Deum and Major Legend, continue to be studied and revered by theologians and devotees around the world. His life of service, humility, and devotion remains a powerful example for all Christians. 1. Influence and legacy. Saint Bonaventure not only stood out as a renowned theologian and philosopher but also left a significant legacy by uniting old and new currents within the Franciscan order. His ability to integrate different theological and philosophical perspectives provided new impetus and direction to the order, strengthening its spiritual and practical identity. Bonaventure was a fervent advocate of the simple and radical evangelical life proposed by Saint Francis of Assisi. He sought to harmonize mystical contemplation with academic thought, profoundly influencing not only the Franciscans but also medieval theology and philosophy as a whole. His theological work, marked by deep reflection on divine revelation and the relationship between faith and reason, continued to shape Christian thought for centuries. Bonaventure not only wrote extensively on topics such as mystical and sacramental theology but was also instrumental in organizing and expanding the Franciscan order, ensuring that it maintained its spiritual identity and commitment to Saint Francis's ideals. We have reached the end of another story full of curiosities. Don't forget to leave a comment with the curiosities of which saint you would like to see on the channel. And until the next story.